In this video, I'll show you how to set up various versions of RISCOS in Arculator and RPC-EMU. I'll also show how to install the software that is included with those RISCOS versions, along with additional configuration tips. All you need are RISCOS ROM images and the Easy Boot pack at the link below, which I assembled from the official software releases. Let's begin. Start by running Arculator and clicking the New Configuration button. Give it a name of some kind. For an early RISCOS 3 system, an Archimedes 440/1 is a good system. You don't really need to change any of these. Click on the far right tab icon. Under Module 0, you need to set an Acorn AKD52 hard disk module. Click Configure, and then configure Drive 4. Click New Drive and set the size to 69 megabytes or so. It will automatically set it to 64 megabytes, the largest size available for this module. If you choose less than the maximum size, be sure to note the number of sectors, heads, and cylinders. You can save it with Change Path. Hit OK twice. If you want to set up a RISCOS 2 system, you should do the same thing for Drive 5. Once you've created the drives, you can select the configuration and start the emulation. After the emulation boots to the desktop, hit F12. Type co.harddisks and then either 1 or 2, depending on whether you're using 1 or 2 drives. Hit Enter again to close the command line. Next, insert the RISCOS 3.1 install disk in drive 0, then hard reset. Click on drive 0. Double-click on HForm to run the hard drive formatter. Hit Enter. Type 4. Hit Enter. Next, make sure that the sector, head, and cylinder counts are the same as the drive file you're using. Type A here. Type I here. Type N here. Type Y here. Hit Enter. Click your mouse to finish. If you're using a second drive, go back in HForm and do it all again for drive 5. Also, if you're doing this, you should make a copy of the first drive for use in RISCOS 2 after you're done. If you want to use RISCOS 2, set up a new configuration. Select an Archimedes 440/1 again. Set the OS to RISCOS 2.00 or 2.01. Add an AKD52 module. Then load the drives you want. Set the size to the size of the selected drive. Now you can click OK, then start the emulation. Hit F12, then type co.harddisks2. Hit Enter and hard reset. Now insert the RISCOS 2 App 1 disk. Click Drive 0. Now open Drive 4. Middle-click over the app disk and click Select All. Now drag it all over to the hard disk window. Once it's done, close the app disk window and insert the app2 disk. Repeat the process for everything on disk 2. Eject drive 0 and hard reset. Here, you can just click on drive 4 to access your applications. There's also some other stuff on the support disk, but you'll need to check the README files for that. For the OldBoot version of RISCOS 3, load up the configuration that you made earlier. Insert the RISCOS 3.1 install disk. Open drive 0. Double-click Spark Plug. Open up HostFS. Drag oldboot.zip over to the Spark Plug icon. Double-click OldBoot. Open up Disk 4. Middle-click over this and click Select All. Now, drag everything to the Disk 4 window. Once it's done decompressing, eject drive 0 and hard reset. Open Disk 4 and then hit F12. Type ADFS. Then type dir:4 co.boot co.filesystem ADFS co.drive4. Finally, opt4, 2. Hit enter, then hard reset. If you've set up a second drive, you can move stuff over to it to transfer it to RISCOS 2. As RISCOS 2 can't use the HostFS shared folder system, you'll either have to transfer stuff this way or through floppy disk images. Here, you have the ROM resident applications. OldBoot contains all the extra software from the RISCOS 3 application and support disks. If you've installed additional applications, or you want to have Windows open up on boot, you'll need to set up a new boot file. Middle-click on the Acorn window at the lower right and bring the mouse over Desktop Boot, and move it to the right until this window opens. Use the left arrow key to move the cursor over and type ADFS ST506 disk 4 $, and click OK. That saves an updated boot file. So let's just say you want the apps directory open when you boot. Open it up and save a new boot file. Then when you reset, that window will be open. Whatever your desktop looks like when you save the boot file will be restored on boot. Windows, applications, anything. For later RISCOS 3 models, create a new configuration and name it. I would recommend either an Archimedes 540, an A5000, or an A5000A for the model. You don't need to change anything here unless you want more RAM. Select the ZIDE-FS IDE controller for Module 0. Configure drive 4. Type 999 for the size. It'll clamp it to 504 megabytes, which is the largest drive it can support. Then save it. You can now start it up. Hit F12. Type co.monitortype1, co.wimpmode31, co.zidefsdisks1, co.zidefsdrives1, co.zidefsdircache32. Hit enter to close the prompt. Load the RISCOS 3.1 install disk in drive 0 and hard reset. Hit F12. Type dir !hform. Then type patch hform. It'll patch the formatter for the ZIDEFS controller. Hit enter and open drive 0. Run hform. Hit enter, then type 4. Keep hitting enter. Type A here. Type I here. Type N here. Type Y here. Keep hitting enter again. Click the mouse to close it. Hard reset. Open drive 0 again and double-click Sparkplug. Now open the hostfs drive and drag easyboot.zip over to the Sparkplug icon. Open the easyboot directory and then open the hard drive. Middle-click over the easyboot window and click Select All. Drag everything over to the hard drive. Eject drive 0 and do a hard reset. Open the hard disk and then hit F12 again. Type ZIDEFS. Then dir:4. co.boot, co.filesystem ZIDEFS, co.drive4, finally opt4, 2. Hit enter, then hard reset. First, open the hard drive and go in Utilities. Run Set Icons. Change it to high-res color icons and click OK to improve the look of the icons. If you want to change the look, double-click on New Look. Let's try changing the background to number 1. Click OK. To save it, middle-click on the Acorn window at the lower right and bring the mouse over Desktop Boot and move it to the right until this window opens. Use the left arrow key to move the cursor over and type ZIDEFS : IDE disk 4 $! Boot .choices .boot .tasks and click OK. When you reset, Your new background will appear. If you click on apps with this, not only will the ROM resident programs appear, but a few more containing the boot directory will appear, along with any programs in the apps directory. For RISCOS 3.71, you'll want to use RPC-EMU. The first thing to do is go to Configure under Settings. Select a strong ARM processor and click on Sound. If you want to use a hard disk file, insert the RISCOS 3.7 install disk into drive 0. Open the disk and run hform. Hit Enter. Type 9 here. Hit Enter twice. Every 4096 cylinders is equal to 1 GB, so right now it's currently set to 16 GB. You can do the math to figure out how large you want it. I've decided on 1 GB drive, and so I'm putting in 4096. Hit Enter. Here, type in the number of cylinders you typed in for the size, -1. Type A here. Type I here. Type N here. Type Y here. Hit Enter. Click the mouse. Now you can reset. Click Cancel here. Open drive 0 again and run Sparkplug. Now open the hostfs and drag easyboot371.zip over to the Sparkplug icon. Open the easyboot37 directory, then open the hard drive. Middle-click over the easyboot37 icon and click Select All. Finally, drag everything over to the hard drive. You can also use the hostfs for your boot drive. Insert the RISCOS 3.7 install disk in drive 0. Open drive 0 and run Sparkplug. Now open the hostfs and drag easyboot371.zip over to the Sparkplug icon. Open the easyboot37 directory. Middle-click over the easyboot37 window and click Select All. Drag everything into the hostfs window. Close these windows. Middle-click the easyboot371.zip file and delete it. Hit F12. Type co.idedisks0, co.filesystemhostfs, finally co.boot. Now reset. With the hostfs as your drive, you'll have as much room as the drive the emulator has. First thing to do is to open up these directories. This will do an initial load on them to set file type associations and the like. To change settings, double-click Boot. For now, go into Screen. Change the colors to 32,000 and change the resolution to 1024 by 768. You can also change the backdrop. To save a boot sequence here, all you have to do is to go down to the desktop boot save window and click OK. For RISCOS 5, you'll want to use RPC-EMU, but in a different installation folder than the one for RISCOS 3.71. You'll need to download the files for it first, as it's under continuous development. Search for RISCOS 5 and find the Downloads section. Go into RISC-PC/A7000. And then download a soft load ROM release. Preferably stable, but you could go for a beta version as well. Go back and go into Miscellaneous. Download the self-extracting version of hard disk 4. That needs to go into the hostfs directory of your emulator install. Next, open the zip file of the ROM image and go all the way down through the directories. Select the RISCOS file and extract it into the ROMs directory. Go to Configure under Settings. Select the strong ARM CPU type, 128 MB of RAM, and click on Sound. Type Desktop here to get to the desktop. Click Cancel. Open the hostfs drive. Middle-click the hard disk 4 file and go to Set Type. Type FFC and hit Enter. Now run the file. You can delete it now. Open the folder. Click Cancel. Middle-click and click Select All. Now hold Shift and drag everything to the main directory. Close that window and delete the hard disk 4 directory. Hit F12. Type co.filesystem-hostfs. Then type co.boot. Hit Enter and reset. To configure this, middle-click on the gear in the lower right corner of the screen and click Configure. You can change the resolution with the screen icon. You can also change the look of things with the theme icon. There are several themes included right here. Then there's the pinboard controls. There's a number of standard images that you can use. You can also use your own images. I've got a JPEG file here. Go to Set Type and change it to JPEG. Then you can drag the image over to here to set it as a desktop background. The boot sequence can be edited here. Add to Apps adds programs to the Apps menu. Look at will find programs that set file types and the like. And Run will set programs to run. One last thing to note is that SparkFS in the Utilities directory is the RISCOS 5 version of Sparkplug, namely a file archiver. If you liked this video, subscribe to my channel, and see you next time!